Sadly, California leads the nation in foreclosures. But tonight, what the banks may not want you to know, you can fight them and you can win.
Our John Caddis Klimek is here now to tell us about a loophole.
Yeah, guys, it's called mortgage securitization. If you bought a home or refinanced between 2003 and 2007, when a lot of us did, and all that paperwork you signed at closing, you authorized your bank to sell your mortgage several times over. And now it's possible that they won't be able to even prove they own the deed. If you can prove that, you could save your home.
All of a sudden, it's gone.
Merrill and Laverne Chandler are in their 70s. This is where they've lived for the last 13 years.
Well, our plan was to retire 5, 6, 7 years ago.
They found a home newly built on the outskirts of the town where they met, Salt Lake City, Utah. Within 3 years, though,
Things changed.
We couldn't make the payments anymore.
Their story has a happy ending, though. They fought the bank, and they won.
It really is an awesome win.
Merrill Chandler Jr., their own son, helped them do it. Because of what they went through, he started a group called NAFTA, the National Association of Foreclosure Defense Advocates. He says when home prices peaked in 2006, it was the same time adjustable rate mortgages of the early 2000s came due.
What's happening in Southern California is that people who could afford a legitimate payment for the home that they bought are being reset to higher payments, and they can't afford those payments anymore.
NAFTA helped Merrill and Laverne realize their mortgage was securitized. What that means is their bank sold the deed to a larger investment bank, which sold it to a trustee firm, which sold it somewhere else, and so on and so on. Finding that loophole in the loan, proving no one could claim true ownership of the deed, saved them.
We were shocked to hear that we were in foreclosure.
This Northridge couple fell into default last November. They don't want to show their identities for fear their children will find out what's happening.
I cannot believe that we are going through this.
They should be out of their house by now, but because they have a lawsuit pending with their bank, they can stay. The memory they'll fight to forget was when their default notice appeared on the front door.
And they border it in bright blue tape so that the kids can't miss it. The neighbors can't miss it. And what they try to do is humiliate you.
And it can be intimidating. This family saying they remember seeing people taking photos of the house with the kids playing in the front yard. And it can be scary. Thousands of our neighbors are going through this. Loan modification forums have brought out tens of thousands over the last 2 years. For most, though, loan mods won't work. But what banks don't want you to know is this.
We can fight this.
Merrill and Laverne took their son's advice.
We were very fortunate because the judge saw that the securitization process occurred, and he wasn't aware of actually who the owner of the debt was.
In a summary judgment, the house became what's called a permanent possession for the Chandlers.
Basically, it tells us that, that we can possess the property, but we don't own it.
Does that work for you?
Well, at this point, yeah.
And you know what? The feds have caught on to this. They've already fined 16 of the major banks in this country, and it may be just the beginning. Of course, we have an awful lot of resources on our website, NBCLA.com. The search term is fighting the banks.
That's really interesting that they can actually possess the property. They don't own it.
Right, but now,
that's
if they decide they want to sell, they still have to pay back what they own.
And you say their payment went up about 1.5 times, and
Yeah.
that's why they couldn't afford it.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting, John. Thank you.
Good job.